Welcome, nerds and nerdettes. Today, you are gifted with the best. My name is Andrew Philip Elias, and if you don't like it, you can suck my penis. Today, I am joined by the indomitable Lloyd Parker Jr. and the stupendous, my co-host, both of them are my co-host, Mr. Aldo Mendez.
Hey, brother, how's it going?
And you are listening
What's
to Between Nerds.
Yeah.
What up? We're back. We're back for another episode, boys.
This is episode 14 of our long-running series, an anime book club called Between Nerds. Eventually, we'll reach out into other medium, but for now, it's an anime book club. This week, we watched Berserk, the 1997 anime produced by OLM Incorporated.
Which is the same studio that made Pokemon.
The original Pokemon.
The original Pokemon. Yeah.
The OG. And one of the best stories written by Kentaro Miura. My guy.
But before we get into all that, thank you for following us on Twitter at Between Nerds. Thank you for using the hashtag NerdyPause, which will help us contribute per every like, comment, or retweet. It will help us donate to the Humane Society of El Paso. Please use the hashtag NerdyPause with a picture of your favorite anime pets or your fur baby.
That's correct.
Cool. Sure. And any concerns, any suggestions, please email us at the email at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com.
So,
Berserk.
I'm going to let Lloyd lay out exactly what Berserk is as a medium, as the manga, real quick, because I feel like Lloyd has the best background on the subject out of the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was hoping that you guys would take care of that. I really don't know how to put it, but this story is about a struggler. Guts.
Well, I was talking production-wise. So it was published in 1989. Okay. The mangaka was... What's his name? How'd you pronounce it?
Kentaro Miura.
Kentaro Miura. Do we know anything about his inspirations or where it came from? Because originally, this reminded me of A Song of Ice and Fire, which I brought up earlier in the week. So then I sat here in front of Aldo, and I was like Googling some dates. The first A Song of Ice and Fire book, Game of Thrones, was published 8 years after the first chapter of Berserk.
And you said it yourself. This might have set a lot of precedents to a lot of things that we watch now and we read now, because the story alone, for me, has a lot of elements put together.
Yeah,
amazing.
I played the first Dark Souls. This reminds me of fucking Dark Souls, obvious. And Dark Souls came out. It was published in Japan too, wasn't it? The game, Isn't the studio? Yeah. So it seems like they took a lot from Berserk.
Well, actually, I was reading that Dark Souls had a lot of inspiration from Berserk to make their game.
The monsters look similar, and it's
absolutely. There's the big swords, the monsters, the dark brown
middle age. Yeah, the middle age. And that's the thing. It's European Middle Ages, which don't get covered a lot in manga, because obviously a lot of times when they do Middle Age publications, it's off of the Edo period or historical Japanese periods and Japanese castles. But this is a faux European period. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel like a lot of the art was also kind of inspired, say, by Fist of the North Star. It has the
Guts reminds me of that.
It does. Yeah, that's why that's one thing I kind of
reminds you of who?
I kind of get hit. Fist of the North Star. So that's also a very old. It's a very old OG anime.
Yeah, Fist of the North Star.
The manga.
Fist of the North Star is the manga that the first part of JoJo's was based off of.
Oh, okay.
It's once you see Fist of the North Star, you'll see that Guts' character model looks a lot like Fist of the North Star character models.
Okay, that's cool. From some of the readings that I was doing, I did come across that name. That's why I was oh, that sounds familiar.
I think it also started in the 80s because So what, like big manga publications in the 80s would have been Berserk, JoJo's Fist of the North Star, and like that's like it, right? Especially when it comes to like shonen manga publications, like.
And what it surprised me that you were looking up this earlier, that the studio has made shit ever since.
Yes, OLM Incorporated produced like a side Beyblade series, and they basically the only thing they're coming out with right now is they're producing the Card Fight Vanguard anime. Which, if you don't know what Vanguard is, like I'm happy for you, but basically, what it is it's just a Yu-Gi-Oh ripoff. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh ripoff with just like a bunch of little anime nerds like in high
Toy
school.
selling bargain.
Yeah. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yep.
So,
Berserk.
Were you triggered when you saw it?
well, yeah, because like I was sitting here just trying to look up like, okay, who did the studio? Because like, why haven't I heard of that? Who the fuck is Oriental Line Media Incorporated? And then I look it up and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of garbage. This is a lot of trash that they're doing. Like, they're really happy with themselves going from Berserk to Card Fight Vanguard. This is really bad.
And then you think about how much popularity it had, and then how you were telling me how cheap the Netflix movies went about it. You know?
What I can't seem to find is who owns like the distribution rights to Berserk. Like, who is leasing out the property to Netflix?
Oh yeah, Lloyd, do you know the actual release date for the US?
No, I don't. I don't know what the official release date was.
I was doing some reading. Apparently Adult Swim was trying to pick them up like 2000, 2001, but they punked out because of like the material within the anime. But that's all I heard, but I couldn't find any official US release date.
How did you watch it, Lloyd? Was it just like when and how did you watch it? I don't understand like how you got into this.
So I think this was one of my initial stories that I kind of started off with. As far as like mangas go, I think I was just one day just looking at like what are some of the best mangas that I should read. And Berserk was one of them.
Like, how old?
So, man, I was probably like 17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely teens. Yeah. So I wasn't too young. But
so like 10, 11
that's how I
years
kind of started off. Yeah. So I started reading it, and I just got lost in the story, man.
It is so easy to get lost. I completely understand you.
Yeah, and I became engulfed by the story, by Guts himself, his just whole narrative. It was a very, very interesting thing to see as far as I guess this would be a good point to kind of just like to start talking about the story.
Go ahead.
Like the first episode, the first chapter in the manga, I think there's a couple of similarities, but it just differs so much. So the first episode, we get to see we already have like an older Guts, like this guy, like this is already post Golden Age arc.
Correct.
But he walks into a pretty much like a bar, right? And
when the little girl's getting harassed,
there's some girl.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, she's getting harassed by some thugs, some local thugs, and Berserk pretty much just pulls up and he murks these guys, and really what he's there for is to talk to the master, he wants to see the master, their master, which is the ruler right now of like wherever that little town is, right?
Yeah, the guy in the snake armor, right? Because he wants to send a message. Like when he was beating the fuck out of him. Like this fool just comes in, fucking shooting fucking arrows in the bar. And this actually, the first episode sets a very different plot point like within the manga, but like in the anime, he comes in, fucks everybody up. He's like, hey, send your fucking master a message and tell him the Black Stormman is coming. Yeah,
well, my first time ever watching or being exposed to anything Berserk, our run through this week, it's good. Like halfway through, I got really into it and I started just watching like 6-8 episodes in one sitting. You get what I'm saying? But it is a product of its age, and it's clear that OLM just didn't have the budget back then, because I mentioned this briefly last week when discussing Erased and Parasite, how like the mangas end up being better than the anime just because manga is a medium, like the stills, like you can budget and allot time to spend a lot of detail on one panel. You can't do that with anime. And I'm sorry, Aldo, I see that you have a point, but
no, go ahead. I completely agree with you. That's my phase.
Yeah. I think it is kind of smart how OLM dealt with it though, because a lot of the animation isn't animated. Like
backdrops, and they just move away from it, move across them, or zoom out of them, and it's amazing. Like it's the simplicity of it.
It's smart.
It's smart
because you can see that like in one scene that they'll draw a bunch of detail on the character models, but then they won't animate anybody because they just couldn't afford the manpower, or they didn't have the budget to just sit there and like animate multiple frames of these characters moving. So they'll move like just the mouths, and then they'll have shit moving in the background.
And a very well fucking technique. It reminded me of Akira. Like Akira, the backdrops in Akira, they're amazing. They're all painted on, but I mean, you obviously have some animation, but the way they went about just having their backdrops, their still shots, and just zooming out of them, moving across them, and stuff like that. It was nice. That's all you need. Your imagination.
Yeah, and I like how they're able to get their point across. Like they don't have to animate the whole scene, but they get their point across just by doing a still shot, right?
No, you're right.
And like the sound effects are pretty dope.
The sound effects are all right. I think the sound design things that I want to pick on are the songs, because I absolutely cannot stand any piece of music in this entire anime.
Tell me why by Pen Pals was the intro song to this anime.
I don't know. It's so bad.
That one's fire.
It's so jokey.
That
so
one is fire.
You know why it's so jokey to
bad.
me? Because it's like the story, the density of the story does not compare to.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
I haven't read the fucking manga, but my sense of what the manga might be based on my watch through of this anime is that it is an epic. It is a long, outstanding story over multiple periods of time and a wide cast of characters. It is an epic, but it is a tragedy.
Our protagonist does not win.
Yeah, it is. You know, it is the tragic story of guts.
Very small wins.
So to Aldo's point, some really bad English acoustic guitar playing
of telling me who you are does not connect me to the fucking story.
But I remember seeing on Twitter, when we announced that we were going to be watching this series, somebody had said that they were looking forward to listening to the Guts theme again. And then after watching it, I'm like, no, absolutely not.
It's a little crazy. It's a little jokey to me, at least.
What I was telling Aldo is that there's this one piece of transition music that plays at the like latter half of every episode when Griffith is on screen, and it's like this really bad choir 1980s disco club. Like,
really, bro, I love it because it's so ass. Like the choir, and it's always like they always play that music whenever there's like a meaningful like scene, you know, whenever they're saying something that is like really deep, like the music just comes on all the time.
But it's so bad.
I love it.
And before we get more into the plot, what this has reminded me of is now that I've seen this and like the origins of a lot of like horror manga and like anime, it reminds me of Goblin Slayer. It reminds me of Goblin Slayer a fuck ton, which is also a tragedy about a dude with a big ass sword and armor just trying to chop down like demonic beings. It reminded me. It just reminds me of so many modern edgelord fucking dark anime. Like this was the original edgelord.
Well, yeah, this is original.
Mm-hmm.
Like and the edgelordiness comes not even from the monsters for me. It's how like sex is portrayed, because it's very rarely portrayed as like as opposed to Domestic Girlfriend, where sexuality
It's romantic. It's romantic.
It's romantic. You get what I mean? There's making love. There's a lot of giving yourself to another person. This is like you're dominating that person. Like it's the assault. It capital A assault, sexual assault. Like you are not going into this to enjoy it. You want to dominate a person, and like it's fucked
crazy.
up.
It's crazy.
And I understand like completely how Adult Swim might
have negate for
yeah. And what we were talking about earlier in the week was I cannot see like a true adaptation being like really advertised to a Western audience anytime soon.
And dude, honestly, even the 1997, in my opinion, and I believe Lloyd will agree with me, that even the 1997 went a little bit on the safe side as far as the manga goes. So there's a lot of differences, but mainly in like the first episodes and the first chapters of the manga. So right here in episode 1, we see him, hey, send a message to your master, which is the guy in the snake armor, which is what's his name? Do you know his name? Lloyd?
Nah, he's just one of the apostles.
So in the manga, we see him beating him up, and we get a first look at his fucking arm cannon.
Yeah.
When he beats him up, and we also see in the anime, the first glimpse at the Baylits.
Right. And the anime never fully explains like the Baylits all that much.
Not really. And the anime, correct me if I'm wrong, Lloyd, but he got the Baylit from a guy that got tortured by the Count, which is a enemy that we don't see at all in the anime.
Well, from I believe in the manga, he gets it from like an old lady selling jewelry like on the side, like in the town where he lived. I don't know if it was like Midland, but. He gets it from there, and she tells him pretty much, whoever wears this,
I'm talking about Guts.
will become a king.
In the first episode, not
you're describing Griffith.
I'm talking about Griffith. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so
well, describe what a Baylet is for our audience. So a Baylet is like this little red. Are they always red? Like the ones we see in the anime are red little square necklaces.
That's the crimson one. That's why it's red, I guess.
Because we see
that's the egg of the king,
right?
As it's referred.
It's this little ugly necklace with like facial features on it, but they're all disjointed. But like you give it blood and it turns into this creepy, ugly face.
Well, you give it your I guess your last sacrifice, I guess. Like your last
I think it's triggered based off
by the bears like a moment
a moment of time, like a significant moment of time, and then
where he has to decide and choose between two things, I guess, some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know?
So anyway, that's episode 1. The main point the main plot of at least the anime is Guts, Mr. the Black Swordsman, is a rebellious child who's super strong and can carry a 20-foot tall fucking sword.
7 foot and 400 pounds? That's what I fucking
Some
read?
impossibly able to carry 400-pound steel sword,
and it's not even like
with
called a sword. It's not even called a sword. It's just called like a slab of steel.
Yeah. He's not even slicing people with. He's just crushing them.
Yeah, he's just crushing them.
It's just like the sheer momentum of just swinging something that fucking big that's just separating people's bodies.
And by the way, he looks so badass, dude. Just swinging this fucking sword throughout the anime, it's fucking ridiculous.
But see, that made it even more. Remind me even more Fist of the North Star, because it's just big dude doing big dude things, which is exactly what like Fist of the North Star was. And I just think it's really like it's clear from like episode 2 onwards like how things are going to end up a little bit, because so he's just following in the anime this band of the Hawks. They're a mercenary group that's hired by different fiefdoms to fight on their behalf. And he's just some little rebellious kid, and the only girl in the troop automatically hates his guts, and then the pansexual dude with the white hair that likes bathing naked in front of Guts also appears to be a fucking creep. Like, you get a sense of where things might go, but you don't understand completely like how fucked up it's gonna go.
You want to elaborate on that, Lord? How Guts first met the band?
The Band of the Hawks. Well, he met him in one of the initial, like one of the first fights. So at the time when Guts was younger, he was just fighting battle to battle. That's how he was living his life. He was pretty much a mercenary, and one of the first battles that we get to see Guts pull up and fucking fight Bazuzo, which is so that's how they refer to him as the Bear Killer or some shit.
Yeah, the round looking one.
Yeah. So he ends up fucking murking the guy and risking his life to just slice this guy. But this is where we the first time that we see Griffith and the Band of the Hawks taking interest. Well, we see Griffith taking interest in Guts. So that same mercenary group that were fighting with the Band of the White Hawks, and Guts was just like walking away. He got his money, and so
I think
is where they try to rob him as he's like walking away. They try to rob him and kill him and take his money because they think that he's go ahead.
A little bit before that, Drew had mentioned that he was like, "Don't fucking touch me," because he when he beat Bazuzu, one of the lords I guess offered him a job, and he tried to touch his shoulder. He's like, "Don't fucking touch me."
Oh yeah. This was kind of this. Honestly, this scene made it almost seem like to me that Guts was assaulted. Because there's a cut scene of like a fadeaway of the guy that raised him, who was a really abusive knight. Just
Gambino?
Yeah, Gambino.
Yeah,
and Guts's reaction just really made it seem like maybe he was assaulted because...
And that's why I went back to it, because I think this sets... in the manga, this sets the mood of why this guy is just fucking fighting and just fucking cleaving his fucking sword at people. Because in the anime, it doesn't really show how really fucked up this guy is.
What, he got more fucked up?
In the anime, Gambino, so... I don't. You remember when they mentioned his birth? He was in a puddle of mud under his mom while hanging.
Yes, I do remember because she was hung by a tree or something.
Mm-hmm. So the mom was pregnant. Yeah, while she was being hung, and she had the baby, and that's where Gambino found the baby while he was with this other girl. Anyways, time passed by, and Gambino just kind of took him in. Oh, the girl died. Gambino's girl died for some reason. She got like cholera.
Oh shit. So, yeah, dude. I'm telling you. Like, okay. So when we get to like see like the origin of Guts and where this came up. So Gambino and his band of mercenaries. He was with his wife. They were passing by the tree where everyone got hung. His wife finds Guts in a pile of guts. Where he was born, which is like his mom gave birth to him while she fucking died, pretty much. And so that's how he got his name. Guts.
That's how he got his name.
That's how we got his name.
Oh,
so
they never explained that in the anime.
They don't explain a lot. So they take him in. The wife takes him in and pretty much raises him. And like you were saying, Aldo, the wife gets sick, and Gambino swears that it was because of Guts.
Yeah, because he's a bad omen when they found him.
Exactly. Yeah. So they see it as a bad omen, and so she ended up passing away, and Gambino.
He gets
Guts always wanted to impress. Yeah, he always wants to impress Gambino because he doesn't have like there's no family figures to him.
Gambino's like his adoptive father.
And yeah, exactly. So Gambino, there's one time that Gambino pretty much sells him off to one of the other mercenaries
to fuck him.
And he sells up
what?
And he gets raped.
Donovan. So this guy Donovan, big dude, comes into the room while Guts is hurt, because at this time Gambino, he got fucked up in a battle, and he overhears some people like not mocking him, but they say things like, "Oh, well, what a good spot that Gambino has. That the Guts is just like providing with, like winning battles and providing for him and stuff like that."
Right.
And he's like, "Fuck no, blah blah blah. What are you saying?" So this one night, Berserk is like sick or hurt or something, and this big dude comes into the room. He's like, "Hey, stop it!" It's like, I paid Gambino for you, like for this. He's like, no. It's like, yeah, he fucking knows about this, and he just fucks him, bro. And he just fucks him.
So you end up getting raped.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we don't get to see. So
I don't think I like the. I don't know if I could read the manga because I'm not. I don't know how
You gotta be
much
ready, man.
You gotta be ready.
I think it's the sexual assault stuff for me that I'm not
Dude,
big on, bro.
it is crazy, dude. But and that's what I'm saying. Like, it sets the mood to how fucked up he really is, and his relationships and all that stuff. Like this person just fighting because that's the only thing he knows. Yeah. So he ends up killing Donovan like a day too later. Like in a battle, he fucking murks him. And he always had that question of like, nah, fuck that. He didn't do that to me or something like that, right, Lloyd? Mm-hmm. And,
yeah, I mean, he's got like the PTSD. So
and Gambino ends up admitting to him that he did sell him to Donovan.
So because in the anime, there's like that scene is kind of like jumbled together, but it's just Gambino. Like, Guts is sleeping after a battle. Gambino's all mad.
He's having a nightmare.
Yeah, he's having a nightmare. And Gambino comes in all mad because he's mad that Guts is providing for him. So he tries to kill him, but then out of instinct, Guts just stabs him. And that's when he runs away from the camp.
And this is why I kind of hate that the animation doesn't do a great job like portraying it, because like they're pretty much just like cut scenes,
I don't think they wanted
so you're just left.
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to animate child assault. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, so they just hint at it, and so that's why the manga is just fucked, man. Like it shows you so much. There's so much depth, and like to Guts' childhood and how he grew up, that is not portrayed in the anime adaptations.
And you like that?
I honestly, it gives a character life. Like you
like
feel
motivation?
for him. Like you actually feel for Guts. It's not like, oh well, he's just a fighter and he's just trying to cut everyone. No, like there's levels a story behind him. Yeah, there's levels to this. Like the way that you get to see his childhood, you get so emotionally evoked that it's like, damn, my guy got raped. This is why he behaves like this. This is why he is how he is. And for them to not animate that sort of stuff it takes away a lot from the story and from the character himself.
So I'll meet you there. So then, trying to diagnose the psychosis of Guts, is he coping with a previous assault he had as a minor by trying to accentuate like his hyper masculineness? Like that's why he's so angry and yelly. And
no, he's pretty much made peace with what happened.
He
has, but he doesn't know anything besides fighting. So he will take high bounties from places to kill people to get by. And then this one time, as we just talked, when he beats Bazuzu, he meets Griffith. Well, when he gets that bounty, Griffith's boys try to get him, but obviously he's super strong. We see Casca jump in, and everybody sees that this guy
Who's Casca?
Casca, main girl of the love interest, pretty much of the whole thing. I wouldn't say love interest, but
yeah, kind of not really. We don't even realize that there's like there's nothing between them until like episode like
she hates
11.
him.
Yeah, she hates his fucking guts because she wants Griffith.
Yes. And this is the first time we see Guts versus Griffith, because
Griffith made a deal that if he could beat Guts in a duel, then Guts had to join the Band of the Hawk.
Not only that, but he owns them pretty much. It's like, you're fighting for me till I say you're done fighting for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's where the bromance starts.
Is it a bromance? Because
it's the first time.
Attractive?
One of you speak first.
I believe so. He's supposed to be. Angelic. I believe
almost.
that was totally. Yeah, exactly. that's exactly what the intention was, is to make him look angelic as a figure that is almost out of like a mid-century. That's almost like at first I thought it was a woman, and then it's a fucking dude. But like just his features, as far as like his blue eyes, his white hair, he's like
he's a
almost like the
Renaissance
White
angel.
Knight. Yeah, exactly. There you go. He's a Renaissance angel.
His manners, his
put that word
elegancy.
very-
Oh
like,
yeah. He's a
you know,
commoner, but he speaks really well. He speaks almost as if he's educated, even though we know he's not. But that theme of owning guts stays throughout the whole time, because Lloyd called it a bromance, but it kind of wasn't from Griffith's angle, because Guts was just like really like proud and like he accepted the dream that Griffith had.
because he beat him.
Right. But Griffith never saw it like that. He was just like, you're the help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I own you. That's like...
Yeah, you're like, I can see you helping make my dream come true, and that's really what the whole story is about. Is like Griffith chasing his dream to have his own kingdom, and he is just using Guts as an aid to help him achieve this goal. And I mean, I know I called it a bromance because this is one of the first times that Guts meets someone that can match him as far as and match him in battle. So he's following his dream. Well, he's helping him get this make his dream come true. But we know this because Guts doesn't know anything else except fighting. So this is where he just kind of just goes along. He like goes with the flow, pretty much.
Well, literature...
And it's not like he can...
Like, in terms of literary terms, Griffith is 100% the foil to Guts. So, if we were to break it down like that, like in most, especially fiction stories, the foil ends up being the antagonist, right?
Correct.
And if we know Guts is our protagonist, so we can sort of assume in the very beginning that Griffith is going to be an enemy of Guts, because what's Guts is rough, he's large, he yells a lot. Who's Griffith? He's small, he's dainty, he's
thinks.
smart,
Yeah.
He
Things before doing and stuff like that.
yeah, like he's everything Guts isn't.
And we see this first fight, which is like I would like to point out that the super fights throughout the whole anime don't compare to the fights between Guts and Griffith, because it's just a couple of sword strokes or moves, and this is where we see, I don't know, I think it's really smart to put it like that. I feel like any other anime would just make it a big ass battle, and you know.
No, I got you.
And I think it was pretty cool, like the way he just bites the sword because he talks too much, and then he just ends up punching Griffith, and everybody's appalled that he got punched because Griffith never gets punched and shit. But then he ends up striking him, and he wins the duel.
Yeah, they're definitely. I think that they're definitely counterparts. Like they're like a yin and yang.
Yeah.
They're like I mean, I'm pretty sure it was very intentional how Kentaro Miura
I'm sure it was.
made them. But yeah, definitely. I mean, the Dark Knight or the Black Swordsman, and then
Dark
we
Knight.
have the, and then we have Griffith. That's like the White Angelic Knight. So this is I know when I saw them when I was reading the manga, I was like, this is definitely going to be like the overarching theme throughout the story. And then, like I said, like I think this is very important, is them like chasing their dreams, and the way that they explain the way Griffith explains his dream, and because since Guts has never met someone like that, he's just compelled by Griffith's goal, and so he's just kind of like forced to kind of follow
what
that
is
dream in a
Griffith's
way.
goal? He wants to be nobility. He wants to own everything. I couldn't even.
So
He wants his own kingdom.
His own kingdom.
Oh, it
You know,
is.
he wanted to be, top of the pyramid kind of thing. And when they initially meet, like, it seems like a very honorable goal as far as how Guts sees it, because it's like, oh man, this guy just has this fucking goal. He doesn't really know about his past or anything, but he knows that he's really good.
That almost sounds like middle-aged fiction coming out of England. You know what I mean? Like a white knight with some kind of pure idyllic goal.
And then we see Guts bounded to these, the band of the Hogs because of the duel with with Griffith, and we see that they've been together for a while now. And we see that Griffith gets knighted by the Kingdom of what was the kingdom? Midland. Yeah. Midland. And he gets knighted by them as a mercenary troop for the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we start seeing the Guts and Griffith have a more mutual respect for each other. And then Kafka is just like being third wheeling, like being like, fuck this guy.
Well, and then are we describing before or after the 3-year time skip?
I think this is already...
This is before. What he's explaining is before the 3-year time skip, but I guess we kind of neglected to mention that Midland's been in war for 100 years, and the reason they get knighted is because Griffith is able to overtake this one kingdom and gives them that victory, right? And so using Guts as his aid and he pretty much like tests Guts' potential, and he gives them these big tasks because he knows he's so well calculated, so like he's such a strategist that he just knows that Guts can do it. Give him an impossible task and he's gonna do it. And I think this goes like it tells like Griffith's dream and how bad he wants to make that happen, and Guts has that's respect for him, that he's able to do all these things for him because of that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, taking from it almost seems like a biblical representation of like Lucifer, because like when they describe how Guts is in battle, it's like everything's impossibly well calculated. It almost seems like everything is automatically like just goes his way. You know what I mean? Without him trying, almost like he, like God or like the universe almost like wants him to succeed. Mm-hmm. And like this story is about, well, especially this arc is about Griffith's fall from grace. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's shown him to be his color palette's all whites and purples,
from the pinnacle to the pit.
Yeah. And then it just shows like the filth and him just like getting knocked down with a bunch of demons. And what I did know about Berserk going into this is I knew it had something to do with demons, and I know the Beylit had something to do with demons, and Griffith already having one, and Guts being all weirded out by it. I thought that maybe Griffith was already a demon at this point in the narrative, because he has a lot of weird scenes with his eyes. Mm-hmm. He's like staring people down. Mm-hmm. And he has he's like a sociopath almost. He can't feel for another person. He doesn't feel like the weight of hurting another person like a normal person would. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like he sees nothing wrong with using people for his benefit, even if it means like they're dying.
Well, that's him chasing his dream.
Yeah, but at the end,
he's a sociopath.
Hold up, let's put a pin on that, and then we'll go whenever we get to the end, because I don't want to say anything about the end. But let's put a pin on that, and then we'll bring it back to the end. But where were we? I was gonna say Guts. I guess the design for his short. What is it like?
His sword.
His short.
His
sleeve. Swords, a sleeve. What is it called?
Oh, scabbard.
His where he puts it away, it resembles the tail of a demon. And throughout the whole anime, he's mentioned to have the devil's luck.
Yeah, which is the opposite of Griffith's. Yeah,
correct, exactly, and that's what I wanted to point out. But where were we again?
We're like somewhere between episode 5 and 6. I don't know.
Okay, episode
And
5
talk
and
about
6.
the 100-Year War.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you said. Oh, you said.
So we're after the time skip. So they're this mercenary in the middle of this 100-year war. They're a successful company, and they're always being hired by one kingdom. So they're moving up within said kingdom because they keep winning battles. 3-year time skip. It's the same, and they're all young. So like when they originally meet, they're like teenagers almost. So then, no,
Huh? No, I'm sorry. Don't forget the battle with the Zod.
I don't even remember the battle.
Actually, man, even dude, there's so many fights that are just so significant. We have where it's Guts versus like the 100 blue whale knights. Like, I think that is very important because my guy literally kills 100 men in one night by himself, trying to save Casca and make sure that she's taken care of. Like, we didn't even get to, like, we still haven't even talked about Casca and like how they ended up in that situation. But
well, yeah, because
Casca is literally like the only woman that you see in the battlefield, and
Right, so
she's go ahead.
so pull it back a little bit. Like if you're going to be talking about like him fighting about those 100 guys, how did they get there? So they're battling. Yeah. They're battling what was it? What'd you call that troop? They were like the Blue Rhinos or something.
The Blue Whale Knights.
The Blue Whale Knights. They're on the battlefield fighting some nameless castle. Casca. This was a little weirdly sexist, but I don't know like how, because Casca's a woman. And the day of this battle, she was on her period, so she wasn't feeling well, and so she almost died on the battlefield.
Was that what it was?
Like that's
I thought
how
she only had a fever.
Yeah, she was on her period.
She was on her period. Like that's why she was fucking up in battle. She got the fever because she fell in the river.
Oh,
So she got like a cold from that. But like she almost died to the captain of the Blue Whale Knights because she couldn't fight properly because she was on her period, which seems like a little narrative cop out. Like it's a little like sexist. You get what I'm saying? Like
yeah, no, it's absolutely sexist. But I think I missed that. I didn't hear anything about no period. I thought she only had a fever and she couldn't fight, and she also had the thought of Griffith. Liking this guy more than her.
Well, when they're going into battle, she's not feeling well. She grabs her torso and she's like, "Oh, why is this happening today?" or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Then I might have missed
cramps.
it. Oh, okay. I might have missed it. But yeah, that's stupid. Fucked up.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up? So then she loses to the captain of the Blue Whale Knights, and Guts saves her. They fall down a cliff into a river, end up in a forest, spend a couple nights inside of a cave. And then these same Blue Whale Knights go hunting after them because they know that they're leaders of the Band of the Hawk. So that's where Guts, trying to save Casca, like Lloyd is saying, has to kill 100 men.
Yes.
Just off sheer willpower. And this is every shonen out of the 80s has this same thing where, like, if you're big and yoked, if you just yell hard enough, you can get through anything.
Yeah, dude. And
that's every manga from the 80s. Like,
and I think we're missing a very good point that the conversation that they had after Casca got better, Casca is telling a little bit of Griffith's past.
Oh yeah,
she's like, oh, I met Griffith when I was a little girl, and this noble guy. I asked this noble guy for help. Oh no, she got sold to a noble.
Got sold to a noble,
and like he tries to fucking rape her, and then
that's why she was sold to him.
Exactly. No, yeah, but she thought she was gonna just be like, like maid or something like that. She didn't think any of it.
She thought she was gonna be the help. This is one of those like. I don't think this could be like really. It's not PC, bro. Like there's literally almost a scene of
where
like
a little girl gets raped.
Yeah, of like an 8-year-old getting assaulted. Like it's really kind of out there and freaky. And she's saved by Griffith from being assaulted, but she has to kill the perpetrator.
He doesn't directly save her. He throws a sword to her side, and she has to make the quick move to kill the noble that was attacking her, right?
Yeah, he's pretty much just gave him the option.
But where I was going
you know what
is
to do. Like, here's a knife.
After the infatuation that Casca gets on Griffith gets to a point where he realizes he needs money to support the troops, to keep his army from growing and being a step closer to his kingdom that he wants.
So he needs money. He needs funding.
Yeah.
He needs
He needs a sugar
sponsor.
daddy.
Yeah.
Well,
go for it.
I don't recall if the anime explains this part, but when Griffith was a young boy, he was actually the king's that king that he has sex with. He was his boy toy.
Yeah.
And
what?
I don't, like,
When he was a
dude,
kid?
yeah, dude. So that's why, like, you see the king. He has young boys, and
No,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's pedophilia right there. And
No,
you
they
get
explain-
that,
they
but
explain
when he was a
that.
little boy.
He was part of his court.
When he was a little boy,
What?
yeah, he was part of his little court, yeah.
His little
Yeah, and
like this is
that
just
was
out
the
in
king's
open?
favorite boy toy.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
disgusting. That's so gross.
And
so like
this is like I was,
but imagine that court, how gross. Like everyone there knows that there's just all these young boys around your king, because he's keeping them for like.
Kings are disgusting
Yeah.
by
Oh
themselves.
my God.
Without the pedophilia, they're disgusting.
That's one of those subversions of like medieval like storytelling that I'm obviously I'm not down for the whole little boys being assaulted thing, but I like the subversion of narrative, because like classic medieval English literature would have been like, oh, this king was so godly, he was such a great dude. But then like what Lloyd is saying, like real kings it was ugly, you know what I mean?
Scumbags,
Yeah,
yeah.
they could do whatever the fuck they want. It could have just been blatant, just out in the open, and no one was gonna do shit about it because he was the king.
And we know that,
Yep.
like, for example, in that biblical sense that you're talking, we know that the Bible was edited by every king that touched it.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So it was like...
What's the most famous version? The King James version. Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was into
Yeah.
little boys, too. You know?
that's disgusting.
Exactly. So it's
for
so crazy.
sure.
It's so crazy because, like, the anime does point it out. Like, it's like, oh, there's a little glimpse of that. Boop. But it doesn't really tell you how fucked up the whole thing was.
But Casca explaining it was really fucking freaky, because they were at this castle, their sponsor, and then she looks up at the king's like bedroom like windowsill, and Griffith's there without his shirt on, and the king's like, oh, come back in here,
Come
like.
ups next one. And shit. Oh, yeah, dude. Crazy.
And then Griffith felt like he had to explain himself the next morning to her, like, "Hey, it wasn't really like that. I just needed money for us.
Like, you don't understand. Like,
I have a dream."
I have a dream, and he just like scars himself in the fucking river, and we still see this
That shit's crazy.
we see this fucking infatuation with like Casca just like being infatuated with him because of how noble he is, because he's given even himself up to this pedophile to pursue his dream. You know, it's so fucking crazy. And what else do we see? We see the escape of them, like getting out of there because some bounty hunters were looking for them.
No,
Like-
they were part of the Blue Whale Knights.
Okay, yeah, and then
And then the whole Blue Whale Knight troop like surrounds them, and there's like there's one comedic character in the whole fucking anime, and he's the captain of the Blue Whale Knights.
oh yeah, fucking Darlon. No, yeah, was it?
And it's
Charladon.
that was yeah.
What's his
I
name?
forgot his name, but
He's an idiot.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
fucking
he's a
idiot.
fucking dumbass.
Like he's like the fucking the Team Rocket of Berserk, because like he just keeps getting fucked up by Griffith and Guts, and then just keeps but like they keep putting him in charge of missions and like protecting castles and shit.
This is an old technique passed down from the so and so family for 500 years. He keeps
yeah,
saying
exactly. That shit is so stupid. Nigga throws dirt. That's something stupid.
Yeah, I know. He's like sneak attack with a fucking bow all the time.
Oh,
I love it, man. I fucking love it, man.
But
yeah, that he's fucking an idiot. He even got his brother killed, like
Yeah,
trying to fight
by
fucking
Guts.
Guts.
yeah, so he tells Casca to fuck off, and Berserk, fucking Guts just fucking kills.
yeah, Guts
Everybody.
told Casca to run away so that he could try to like fight off these guys long enough for her to run away. So then he fights like a 500-pound dude with a big ass mace, and he fucks him up. And then it's just him left to fight 100 dudes, just yelling and screaming, getting stabbed by arrows and cut. And then again,
the arrow through the hand, that shit was cool.
So
like he breaks it, blah.
Like, not only is Casca still on her period, so she can't run, I guess. Like, that's how the anime wants you to think a woman's anatomy works. And then she still has a fever. So then she gets caught up by like three members of the Blue Whale Knights. And again, there's the theme of that, like, sex in this anime is only meant to dominate a person because it's just three dudes pinning her down and not wanting to like they're not trying to like enjoy it. They just want to like insult her almost.
Should we tell the nerds how I quote unquote ruined this week for you?
Oh yeah. So like I'm on episode 2 watching the anime, and like as a joke I throw in the chat like Guts is totally gonna buck Casca, and then Aldo's like, yeah, everyone does, but I think he's the only one that did it consensually. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just like? So every scene she's in, this happens.
There's like 100 almost opportunities.
There's like 100 almost Casca rapes throughout this, and like in every scene she's in, I'm like, is this it? Is this it? Is it finally gonna happen? Aldo spoiled the last scene of the anime for me, and it stayed in my head the whole time I was watching it, and which was the most annoying fucking thing because like it doesn't happen till the very
like
fucking
I said,
end.
I didn't see it that much because it happens so often. Like I didn't think
That's
I
really
was
significant.
I didn't think I was ruining something for you because it happens so often. Anyways, yeah, she almost gets raped by these three guys of the whales. And yeah, she stabs him in the eye.
Yeah, she stabs like one in the eye with an arrow, and then the Band of the Hawk is Deus Ex Machina into place, and they're just automatically there to save them.
Yeah.
But when they find Guts,
Ricker pulls up.
But when they find Guts, he's all stabbed and beaten up, and they're not even sure he's breathing.
Like Casca's shaking him, and he's like, "Stop shaking me!"
all fucked up. Please stop shaking me. But
I know she finds him. My guy is like surrounded by fucking dead bodies, just slumped, and she's over here shaking him, yelling at him like, "Damn, bitch!"
The same string of episodes are also about Griffith like schmoozing his way into the court of the Midland Kingdom and like getting acclimate, like he's getting new titles bestowed upon him by the king. He's a part of the court. He's interacting with the prince and the princess and the king, the king's brother, and the queen, and like all these other ministers and stuff like that. So it comes off really Game of Thronesy for like a little bit, which was what I was talking about earlier in the week. Because for me, I've read every A Song of Ice and Fire book, including like all the side ones. So, and that's what always upsets me when you talk about like the show, like the HBO show, because they tried to market the fantastical nature a lot more. You get what I mean? Like, oh, look, guys, there's dragons, keep watching, there's fucking dragons. Every advertisement had fucking dragons in it. When really, when you read the books, it's about the political nature of it.
You were telling us that. And I never watched Game of Thrones.
You never watched Game of Thrones? Neither of you watched Game of Thrones?
I've only watched the first season.
Bro, honestly, I think I've only watched like the badass episodes.
Neither of
like
you
where they
have
actually
watched...
where I guess the Ice King comes through. Like those episodes are dope. And then like,
but see, that's not even canon. That wasn't in the books. Like, that's not like neither of you watched the most popular show of the past 10 years.
I saw the first season. It's cool. But I get it. It's cool. It's like House of Cards almost without the pedophilia.
It's because
So you're telling me you've never read Berserk? The greatest story ever written?
So it's like
no, but that's not the same. This is the most popular piece of media to come out of the U.S. in the past 10 years.
Yes.
Game of Thrones is the most popular show of the past 10 years. That is not the same.
Yeah, and so is Gilmore Girls.
Yes, but Berserk has demons.
But like,
and
bro,
I like that.
And that's I can't even remember the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, it's smart. It's political. It's cool. I understand.
I'm just so fucking triggered. I can't even
Okay.
Because
dude,
the show
it's wild. It's wild that Berserk is not even, it's not even about demons. We don't even get to see demons. Probably we just get one episode, and it's just him fighting the Snake Apostle, and that's about it. And then after that, we have like the actual Golden Age arc and how that develops, and then probably the only time that we see a demon is when he fights Nosferatu Zod, and that's the only other time. And beyond that, like the whole story, you don't see any of that. Like
that's what I'm saying.
It's not even about the demons. Like
that's like another similarity between Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones, the marketing was all about the dragons, but it wasn't about that.
But now that you remind me, the reason I brought up Nosferatu Zod is because Nosferatu Zod at this point, after their fight, which is a badass fight, but the point that I'm trying to make is that he tells Guts when Griffith is passed out, when he sees the Baelit, he tells him at the point when he's at his like.
Why are you explaining me the end of that? Just explain the beginning. Who's Nosferatu Zod?
Well, because we're way past that battle, but yeah, Nosferatu Zod. Throughout the journeys of the Hawks, they come upon this battle and they hear about the God of War, which is Nosferatu Zod, which has like this humanoid figure.
Well, they believe him to be human. He's just this like impossibly big dude, and like he can't die basically. And they're saying that like, oh, he's been killed on battlefields before, but he's shown up at the next one. So then Guts goes in there to try to rescue his troop from getting slaughtered by this guy, and it's just a whole ass demon. Like it's just an ogre. Mm-hmm. And Guts is getting fucked up, and Griffith has to go in there to rescue him. And again, Griffith doesn't respect Guts as a person, so why would Griffith have gone in there to rescue him? Like he was trying to rescue like his property or something? Like
I think because he still needed a lot to go.
He felt like he still needed Guts' help at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, like Guts is such a crucial
part of the chest.
Yeah, like that's like he's the king and that's his queen right there. Like that's his fucking.
He can move in all directions with a big ass sword.
That's his right hand. That's like it's his first mate on the ship. So he's just a demon. So like Guts almost kills him, sort of, but like he powers up. Like he just like I guess from
Power
like,
Ranger power up.
Yeah, just from Mr. Zod, just from experiencing the thrill of battle, just levels up and turns into a big hairy red horn demon thing, and with big wings. And you were describing, so he knocks out Griffith, and he sees his Baelit, and he tells Guts, he's like, hey, this guy's got like the will of the king or something, and you're gonna end up dead and alone because
at the point this guy calls you his brother or something like that. Like at the point that you mean to him so much, at that point, that's the point that like you're gonna die, like he's gonna turn on you, kind of thing, of message. And like he never really understood that because he's fucking fighting a demon, and Griffith, his boyfriend's dead on the floor, and fucking Nosferatu Zod just fucking flies out of the fucking thing. And that was what I wanted to come back to, the fucking the prophecy that Zod laid out, kind of thing.
Zod is just that side character. He's like, oh, this guy has the Crimson Baelit. All right, for sure. I want to see how this plans out. It's like, oh, I bet this is your boy. Like, I want to see this plan out. Like, I'm not even going to kill you. I want to kill you, but I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to let you live just so I can see how this plans out. And I think like the only other time that we get to see Nosferatu Zod is like when Guts breaks his sword too, and he throws him. Yeah, he throws him. Oh yeah.
So I think we're at the point that we find out that all this time the 100-year war, it's between Midland and then the kingdom of the king that used to fuck.
Right.
Griffith.
Yeah. So then
and then Griffith gets his payback and actually kills him. Fucking great guy.
Mm-hmm. So then the last battle that the Band of the Hawks are in this war are against like the strongest troop in this impenetrable castle. They're the purple rhinos or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And Griffith's like, if you order me to do it, I'll do it.
You're right. So, and this is where we start to see that the court has it out for Griffith. Like, they're very clearly trying to off him because he's getting too much favor with the king. And what ends up... So they go to this castle. They set up a plan to bring out the purple rhinos. They bring them out on the battlefield, but they have like a side troop, like go out the back door of the castle, and that's how they take it over. Mm-hmm. And then they're fighting the joke character from the Blue Whales is there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the plan that Griffith had, him knowing that who he was fighting, he wanted to make himself notice so this king could come out.
Right, so the Purple Rhinos were working for the fiefdom lord that was...
fucking Griffith, when he was a boy.
Was giving butt kisses to Griffith.
King Griffith, yes.
So...
That's why we have the explicit option, guys.
So, Aldo's right. So Griffith makes himself known on the battlefield. So then said horny lord sends everybody out onto the battlefield to bring Griffith back alive because he needs his buddy back. So Griffith, being the smart guy, when the castle isn't defended, just goes in and takes it over like that. And the scene Lloyd's talking about Guts' sword breaking. So this 400-pound slab of steel snaps when Guts is fighting the leader of the Purple Rhinos. And Nosferatu Zod is on top of a mountain watching this fight and throws Guts a sword.
Overlooking almost.
Why was he there?
I want to say there's a difference between... an Earth realm god, like the god of war, like something like Sod is, and the things we see later on, like the demons.
So he is a god? They don't explain that. They don't explain any of that.
So I don't want to say that he's a demon, but he's some sort of other entity.
He's not a demon?
I don't think so. I think he's more...
he's not like not like an apostle, but definitely a demon, but he's he has no correlation. Yeah, he has no correlation to anyone else.
The demon's
he just
agenda does
thing.
Not matter to him. He's outside the demon's agenda. So he's seeing Berserk, fucking Guts, and the leader of the Rhinos fucking fighting out. And at some point, fucking Guts gets his sword gets fucking broken, and this guy just throws his sword at him.
So why was he watching? Does he have a weird infatuation with Guts? Does he recognize his fighting skills?
I think
he does.
I think he wants
I was telling you, he
Griffith, maybe?
What?
No, well, Guts is the first human that was able to actually fight, stay alive in a fight against him. So he's already infatuated from the start. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, he sees that Griffith has the Bailet. So he's already foreseeing how everything's gonna plan out because it's not gonna be his first rodeo. So not only does he have two humans that are able to survive a fight against him, but one of them has a Crimson Bailet. And he sees he's in the shadows, just seeing the story development. That's why he let him live, because he wants to see how the story plans out. And then whenever he breaks whenever Guts breaks his sword with his fight with the captain.
Oh, the Rhinos, yes.
He throws him his sword because he wants to keep him alive. He's I think the way he sees it is if anyone's gonna kill him, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna kill him.
True.
I need to have another fight with him.
I believe that is his motivation, that he wants to fight Guts again.
This is one of those scenes where I thought Griffith might still be a demon, because the sword comes down from the sky, lands on the battlefield, and Griffith right away is grab that sword, use that fucking sword. He already knew that it was some weird demon sword or something.
Uh-huh.
And then... Yeah, so I thought at this point that Griffith might have also been in cahoots with the demons because he already seemed to know what was up with this weird demon sword that just fell from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
But
this nigga said in cahoots.
But he wasn't at this point. He knew nothing about this greater demon plot. He knew nothing about how he was going to end up. So that scene doesn't make sense to me.
He's just so quick with, his eyes, and he's a good warrior. He was just use a fucking sword. I don't know. I think that wasn't really important to his character, or to that moment, I guess. Because we literally saw it on the mountain, and he's being like, oh no, he's not gonna die right now. And he fucking throws him the fucking sword, and the sword lands. Griffith's like, yo, use it. But I don't think it had to go much deeper than that, I don't think.
Yeah, I also don't think that it was supposed to be anything like significant. It was just a moment where we get to see that, you know, like I was saying,
we missed
Zod
something
just has
cool.
that interest in him, and what?
We missed so like still in the earlier half of the anime, there's a subplot about the king's brother, the first in line for the throne, cannot stand Griffith. And like he at one point tries to assassinate Griffith with a poison dagger, and Griffith knows who's out to get him, so he sends Guts to Mr. Julius's castle to try to kill him. Guts kills him, kills his son Adonis, who's like a child, like 6-7 years old, kills like a bunch of guards trying to escape the castle, gets shot by a bunch of arrows, and then he goes back to the castle to try to tell Griffith that he succeeded in the mission. And the scene he walks in on is Griffith talking to the princess about how much he cannot stand the members of his troop because he doesn't respect them, because he can't respect somebody that wants to pursue someone else. Yeah, that doesn't have their own dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and at this
so this
point,
that is like so important to him that he is willing. He can't respect or feel like he's equals with anyone if they don't have their own dream to pursue. And this is he's saying this as Guts is walking up the staircase to talk to him, and he overhears this. And this is a point where psychologically Guts figures it out. It's like I've been living another man's dream. He realizes that he doesn't have his own dream, and this is what kind of triggers him to later on to leave the Band of the Hawks.
Yeah,
he's gonna do everything to help Griffith achieve his dream. Once he achieves his dream, my nigga says, I'm out. Peace. Because I need to figure out my dream. What am I living for? What am I trying to do?
I've been willing my sword for another man or some shit like that.
There you go.
He's tired of jocking off somebody else's biddy, and he's out to get his own biddy.
And titty.
There you go. Yeah. Oh yeah. So from there, he pretty much helps him like achieve his goal, and they end up. He ends up just leaving after he realizes, you know, my job here is done. And so he dips, and they try to stop him. He has a second fight with Griffith, and he pretty much breaks his sword and just fucking GG's him. And at that moment, that's another very
before that.
Oh, my bad.
Before that, there's an important part where after they win this battle against the Purple Rhinos, the war's over. So the king throws a whole banquet where they're gonna recognize the Band of the Hawks, and he's gonna knight Griffith.
That's a noble.
And they try to this secret subplot, like again Game of Thronesy of like
Illuminati behind the king.
Secret people in the court had like a plot to kill Griffith. So it's like the queen and a bunch of like court members, and they try to poison Griffith. And that's when Griffith basically burns them all alive inside of like a big ass building. And
the queen included?
Yeah, the queen included, and a bunch of people die. And then that's when we find out that one of the members of the plot was also working with Griffith, and he was only doing so because Griffith had hired a band of mercenaries to like capture his daughter.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Which he ends up killing.
Yeah, who he ends up killing, and he has Guts kill these people he just paid off, and now Griffith then tries to give like a little story to Guts about how he's such a great guy anyways, and he dirtied his hands, and
dude, that whole thing is stupid because he's like Guts being a smart man, he's like, oh, I'm gonna take their money that we just fucking paid them because they're dead, you know? And then Griffith's like, no, leave the fucking money there. We paid them for what they've done. And it's like, all right, dude, you just burned some people. All right, whatever.
Yeah. And then that's when eventually what you're talking about happens. Once, Griffith is successful within the kingdom and there's nothing else for them to do, that's when Guts just takes off.
Yeah. And not just that, but the infatuation that Casca grew for Guts this time. If she wouldn't have gone behind him and, hey, Guts, fucking don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or maybe maybe he would have seen Griffith, because we see that while he's trying to leave, he comes across Griffith, and Griffith's like, no. I own you. I told you 3 years ago I own your death and your life or something like that, and you're not going anywhere. So they fight, but fucking Berserk fucks him up. He just breaks through his sword and keeps him one hit like over the shoulder. Yeah.
So like he mercy blows him. Like he has his sword up to his neck and could easily just cut his head off, but he doesn't because he's like, I already won. And him walking away is when Casca's like, oh, I miss Guts so much. I loved him. Why did I never realize this? Oh, no.
So at that point, Griffith's, his dream pretty much shatters. Like we were talking about, he doesn't really... he doesn't respect or think that someone else isn't, like, he doesn't consider someone else like his equal. They don't have their own dream. But at that point, you realize how much Guts meant to him. And like, after that, he just fucking spirals into depression. Like, that's his boyfriend just fucking left. And like, he's got no one else. Well, like, that was, he didn't, the way I see it is like, I feel like he didn't mean to say that. But like, that's the way he thinks, but he truly does see Guts as his equal.
Well, that's the fall of Griffith. He spirals into despair, and he kind of just assaults the princess. He breaks into her room almost, like climbs through a tree, knocks on her window,
and he very gentleman-like eases himself into her.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, can I come into your bedroom chamber? She's like, what? For what? Why would you do that?
Yeah,
and he's
like, can I get it? He's like, who? No, wait, what?
And it is assault because like she never gives consent. She denies consent a few times. No, Sir Griffith, let's not do this.
He's like, just give in to your face.
Which is not consent.
Which is not consent.
So he, again, just another theme of assault, because he felt him coming from the gutters, he felt like he was dominating the system by dominating the princess like this. Like, his sexual dominance over her, like, is, again, what I keep talking about, how Berserk writes sex in. Like, he's not even there to enjoy it. He's just there to dominate another person.
Yeah, it's like he lost so much track of his dream, and that instead of like seducing her into like a relationship which would lead for him to be, king at some point, like, he just fucking rapes her. Like, he just fucking assaults her.
Yeah. And so then when he escapes the next morning, that's when the castle guard is there and arrests him.
Yeah. And at this point, Guts is away from the Hogs. He's getting his sword fixed by his grandpa?
Yes,
or like,
nah, it's an old man. It's Godo. So Godo, we see him in like the first episode, where he's actually forging the Dragon Slayer. But during that time skip, he's pretty much bettering himself, being a better swordsman, fighting stronger people, and so after that time skip, what I like is you see from the beginning of Berserk, like, we see a young Guts, and now we see a matured, older Guts. He's probably, I want to say, like 20 years old at this point.
I completely understand you, because at this point we see Guts in a quiet place. In a quiet enough place for him to think of what he has been doing. Like, he's no longer blinded by just fucking rage, but he's at a quiet place after helping a friend, which was Griffith, and he's just thinking about what he wants to do. It's like, man, it's like, and then that's when they mention his connection with the sword. It's like, man, this sword is me. It's like, I'm just gonna try
this is all I know.
I'm just gonna try to find what I want to do, but whoever stands like in front of me, like, I'm just gonna kill him.
Right.
Yeah.
So then the Band of the Hawks. So Griffith gets arrested, and throughout that whole year is just the Band of the Hawks are just on their own without Griffith, and Guts eventually finds out and rejoins the Band of the Hawks. And he's just in on the plot to go rescue Griffith, and
it's so fucking raw. Like the way he comes back, like he hears about that they're running away and that they got a bunch of mercenaries trying to get the
Hawks.
Trying to get the Hawks, and the way he comes in, it's like they find him one night. The mercenaries find them, the Band of the White Hawks, and so they raid the place at night, and like while everyone's running away, over here Casca's about to get fucking marked because she's also fucking spiraling into despair, because she doesn't have Griffith anymore, and like everyone's just getting marked and getting killed. And right before she almost gets killed, we see Guts come into the picture and just fucking chop the guy. And this fool is so cool, man. He was a great guy. Tells her to get up and just fucking helps everyone out, helps out Rickert. But yeah, this is where the final phase starts, where they come up with a plot to go out and save Griffith, which is I think what is the tower called? I think it's the Tower of Rebirth, right?
Yeah. Right now I think we're about episode 21, I believe, when he's like getting tortured in the lowest part of the dungeon. And we see him wearing his signature like hawk armor, but more of a like iron mask kind of thing where he's just like prisoner to it, instead of him just wearing it. And he's just getting fucked up. He's like, you can tell he's malnourished.
They cut the tendons off in his hands,
his feet. He can't talk. They cut off his tongue. At this point, I think the guy that tortures him, I think he gets his bay lit and he throws it in the sewer. Yeah. I was telling Lloyd, I'm like, dude, the point that happened when the first time I saw it, I remember is like, that's it, dude. He's gonna like wherever Griffith ends up, he's gonna find that shit again. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So those are like that's a time where we really see Griffith. Like I said, just in despair, and this is this is the first time that we actually see the God Hand, and he thinks he's tripping out because he's so fucked up that he sees like a brick fall off like the side of the wall, and then the little demon creatures come out and they're like the king, and then like there's that scene where they they say the God Hand pretty much lets them know that we're gonna see each other soon. Like the time has come, and like we're gonna see you soon. Like don't lose all hope. Like it's coming. So he thinks he's just tripping. I thought this was just like visions he was just having. But yeah, that's pretty much them like reaching out.
Well,
but
and at the same point in time, Guts getting back with the Band of the Hawks is the first piece of sexual like consent we get in the entire fucking anime. This is like episode 23, and our first experience of two adults giving each other consent is Casca stabbing Guts in the shoulder and almost falling off a cliff, but he saves her and kisses her, and they have sex outside. So everyone's got a twig up their butt, and they're just talking about how much they love each other now.
Yeah,
right. And then in that scene when they fall asleep, we also get to see the first time that we actually see the Skull Knight. And he pretty much reaches out to Guts, and he's like, "Keep on struggling."
I don't remember that.
I think.
I'm probably. No, actually, I think it's the movie. I think the movies show that scene. Yeah. My bad. Never mind. I'm just gonna shut up.
That's cool, but
so they go break into said dungeon. And
by the help with the princess.
Because the princess, after being assaulted, now feels for her captor.
Yeah, after a year of torture.
Yeah, and wants to go help him. So they sneak them into the castle. They go down to the dungeon. they find Griffith, and he's all fucked up. Like, everything we just described, he's all broken and ugly now. He can't speak. He's all basically lost his mind, and Guts is just like, Casca, don't look. Like,
this was fucked up.
yeah, like, you're gonna be traumatized. This dude you're obsessed with is, like, just barely even alive. So Guts being Guts, just starts slashing at everybody, just, like, running out of the castle. And it's... and then it's just really sad because, like, Griffith is... He doesn't like Guts now. Like, he
doesn't realize that yet. I think at this point he just sees Guts and he's like,
Well, he didn't like him because he was tripping while still in the dungeon, and he was like, if I ever fucking see him again, like, it's his fucking fault. If I ever fucking see him again, I'm gonna hurt him.
Because even when he reached at Guts,
he tried to choke him.
He tried to choke him, yeah. Like, what Guts thought was like a,
caress.
Oh, my friend, you're here, was like a...
Him being like, yo, this only happened because you fucking left me.
If I could, I would.
I only raped that princess because you left me.
I would have let you rape me.
Yeah. could just raped you instead, but now look at us.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, it gets fucked up.
So,
and I like this little glimpse that we get, like, at a, or is not where he gets like a glimpse at a future with Casca. Are we at this point?
Yeah. Griffith is, like, hallucinating. He's imagining the alternate future with Casca where they have a kid named Guts.
Yeah.
And they're just reminiscing on when they were mercenaries. And then he wakes up and they
save Griffith.
They save Griffith. The band of the Hawks is on the run. Half the troop gets murdered by demons.
Not yet. We're not there.
No. Before that.
No, not yet.
No, half of them are at a lake waiting for the troop that went to go save Griffith to return from the castle. So they're camped out. The little blonde boy, Ricket's getting water from the lake. True. And then out of nowhere there's a fairy demon, and, like, all these demons raid the camp and they're all eating everybody, and Ricket's just like, what the fuck is going on? So then fast forward to the other half of the band of the Hawks. They're running away with Griffith. Griffith wakes up from a little hallucination nap and, like, tries to ride horses,
here's Guts and Casca flirting, and he just decides to dip.
Yeah, he's so mad at Guts. He's like, "What? Casca was obsessed with me, and now you're what
He
happened?"
gets a whole hallucination about him needing bodies to get to this castle.
Oh yeah, because because the old...
Like, why should I feel sorry now after all this bullshit that I've done? Is like, might as well keep going, kind of thing.
Yeah, the old fortune teller that gave him his Baylet was like, you will make your way to the castle, but on top of all these bodies. So then Griffith wakes up from his fever-induced nap and tries to ride a carriage away, trying to just run away, even though he's all fucked up. He lands in a lake, finds his Baylet, bleeds on it during a solar eclipse, and that opens a portal to, like, the demon world?
Yeah, so if we go back to the time Nosferatu's Zod saved Guts by throwing the sword, he mentions the eclipse day.
Right.
You know, that he wants to see how he does on the eclipse day or some shit like that. So we come to this eclipse and it opens like a kind of like a time period when, like, the fucking darkness world and the regular world, like, are one, and fucking Griffith is the chosen one, fucking Matrix style,
right?
Because of that Baylet.
So they're transported to this demon world, and then a bunch of, like, demon lords pop out. The anime literally doesn't name any of these characters. They don't explain who they are. Like, I have no idea who these demon lord people are.
And they're out of the normal world. Like, they get completely, like, fucking, like, put into
they're in, like, a different dimension.
Yeah. And everything's fucked up. Like, from that point on, it's just fucking demonic shit happening to all these people, to all the Hawks.
Yeah, so they pretty much, that day has come, the one that we've been hearing about, the eclipse, the solar eclipse, and it opens up that portal to the demon world and pretty much links both worlds together. And this is like I said, this is the first time we get to see, well, this is when we get to see the God Hand again. this is pretty much where Griffith is given the choice to either keep pursuing his dream or to not take the offer that the gods are making. And they, like I said, they give him the option of, you know, sacrifice all these people for your dream, or we're just gonna fucking dip. But like I said, like Griffith's dream is so important that he said, "Fuck it, I'm in no shape or form to even live right now." So
who are these
might as well
people?
just fucking.
Who are these people he's making a deal with? Can you explain them to me? Like, who are these demon lords that just pop out of nowhere and are like, "You're the chosen one"? Like, who are they to decide who the chosen one is?
So they're pretty much like the demon gods. They are the gods. So they're pretty much they pretty much roll over set of apostles. So we have the God Hand is comprised of they're pretty much like the great ones. We have the guardian angels of desire, the guardian angels of the God Hand, the sovereign of the supreme beings, the great ones. There's 5 of them. We have Void, Slan, Ubik, and Conrad. And these guys, they don't really explain who these people are, but they were pretty much, they were also humans at some point that also got their hands on Crimson Baylets. Correct. So the Crimson Baylet, like I said earlier, it's the egg of the king. So they pretty much, there's been these solar eclipse before, and say that probably these people were important, like maybe a king, a queen, a prophet. It could have been anyone, someone with a significant dream to become one of these guarding angels or the God Hand. So so they're pretty much the gods. Like they rule over all these apostles, which are demons, and like they give Griffith the choice to join them. And so he takes up the offer, and he pretty much, it's crazy because like he takes on the Hawk. He is the Hawk. Mm-hmm. Like he went from being a white knight to becoming like the Dark Knight. And it's crazy how it becomes this demon because like he sacrifices everyone. Like the feast has begun. His whole squad, the white knights, are getting killed left and right. Guts is over here trying to fucking save people, and fucking everyone's just tripping. But he turns Griffith turns into an egg.
And I just want to remind the listeners that throughout this whole time we are seeing deaf, weak, only mentally kind of stable Griffith, and throughout this whole demon shit happening, all this explanation of him being the chosen one, Guts is trying to save him. At some point, Griffith is one of the main points. Griffith is like sitting at this huge palm of this hand and gets imprisoned within the big old fist coming out of the ground in this demon world. And when that is happening, Griffith is reminding himself in some sort of weird way after the demon gave him his little push explanation about why he's here, because he told him, "Oh, you were always meant to be here." But I think that was kind of like a demon shit to do, because he kind of pushed him into the thought that ever since Guts got there, he distracted him from his dream. Right. So he, at the end, when we see this big old hand close, we hear him say, "I submit." And the anime is like, ¿cómo se dice? Sacrifice. Like, I give up everybody in the fucking Hawks. Yeah. And gives them all the brand of, what is it?
What's it called, Lloyd? It's a brand that marks you as
the brand of sacrifice. Food.
Yeah, the brand of sacrifice. There you go.
And what is it that marks you as demon food? Like,
because you were supposed to. He was supposed to die in the demon world,
right?
You know, but because he escaped, but he still bears this brand. Oh wait, we're not even there.
We're not even there yet. So they all magically get this brand, which marks them as food for Griffith in his demon turning cocoon. So all these demons pop out of the ground and just start eating the entire band of the Hawks, and like everyone's trying to run away, and Casca's trying to run away with the good archer dude that was in the band of the Hawks,
Jude.
And then at a certain point, everyone except Griffith is dead, and everyone except Guts is dead, and then we see Griffith emerge as a demon, and he's all in black now, and he's a black hawk, like Lloyd's saying, and the first thing on his mind is like, oh, well, you were in a semi-relationship with Casca, so now I'm going to rape her in front of you. So like, she's being Did you want to explain it? But like, I was just gonna say, like, she's being held up from the ground.
Yeah. So like we see Guts realize that this is the moment that Nosferatu Zod was talking about. He's like, holy shit, this motherfucker actually sacrificed us to fucking do his thing.
Yeah.
And we see we see him fucking raging, trying, like, cutting through these fucking demons, trying to get to Griffith, because he's fucking pissed. He can't believe he just sacrificed everyone.
He's so pissed, bro.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the fucking, like, the rage that he has for Griffith. And so yeah, like so he gets to Griffith. He sees him as that black hawk, and the God Hand refers to Griffith or Femto as the King of Longing. So I think that's a befitting name. So he gets Casca, and he pretty much he smashes her in front of Guts as Guts is trying to.
Yeah, he assaults her.
He assaults her.
Smashing it sounds worse because it
almost
wasn't.
It is what it is. It's rape. It is what it is.
Yeah, because it wasn't. And like, it's so, the anime's not as explicit, but you were showing me the manga panels, and we just finished watching one of the movies with that as a scene. It's really, it's disturbing.
It's
like,
demon rape.
Yeah, it's demon rape. But at a certain point, Guts is watching the whole thing. He's being held down by demons. His arm stuck in a demon's mouth, and he ends up having to cut off his own arm to try to get away from this demon that has his arm in his mouth.
How insane is that? How freaking insane! I'm sorry.
No, it's crazy. No. It's fucking wild. Like, it's crazy.
Like, it's the rage. You feel it. Like, you can feel his fucking pain.
He was trying to protect her.
Yeah, and he's getting.
He was already in a chilling spot. And all of a sudden, like, this dude is getting fucked up by the guy that he was carrying and protecting from all these fucking soldiers.
Yeah, and he cuts off his arm to get closer, but then I don't know, there's like a force field power around Griffith now, so now Guts can't get close to him, and then the demons just start holding him down, and Griffith is just like assaulting Casca, and Casca is looking Griffith in the eye, and she's looking Guts in the eye, and like, don't fucking look at me. But fuck, I don't know.
And while he's doing this, he's making eye contact with Guts too.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like, as Guts is like trying to get his arm out of the demon, like, it's so insane how pissed off he was. Like, the rage just comes out, and then, like, he starts chomping at his arm and just cuts it off, and you see him, like, run straight to Griffith, and it's just insane what it came down to at that point. Like,
and I'd like to point out to the listeners that at this point we have made a slight jump from the end of the Berserk 1997, which ends at Berserk being blinded or blacked out while the rape is happening.
Well, we're still talking about said rape, because that's my thing about sex is only viewed in a sense of dominating another person in this, because it's not even about dominating Casca at this point. It's about dominating and having this power over Guts. Like, you're in love with this woman, and I'm going to assault her right in front of you. But one of I think the most disturbing part about how this was directed and written from the manga standpoint, and how it's then translated to the anime and the movies, is that it's like, she is being assaulted. She does not give consent initially, but at a certain point, she, like, more than gives in. Like, she starts like enjoying it. Like, there's the flushed red cheeks. There's it's gross. Like, I like can't even put it into words. Like, how disturbing it is.
Her infatuation came over everything.
Yeah. It's disturbing on an emotional level because it's saying that the physical assault didn't matter because at an emotional level, like, that dominance over her did work to a certain point. And that is really where that theme of just like sex only being a way to dominate people, that theme with which he writes Berserk, just like comes full circle because it worked on Casca right in front of Griffith. Right in front of Guts, which is like the most like fucked up thing.
And yeah, fucking she, like I said, at the end of the anime, we just see Guts passed out.
Yeah.
In the movie, we see that we see the Skull Knight coming and save both of them.
Yeah, I have no idea who the Skull Knight is.
Go ahead, Lloyd.
Yeah, the Skull Knight pulls up and tries to save him. Which you gotta watch the movies, but because they actually like I was saying earlier, they introduce him back when he has consensual sex with Casca, when Guts has consensual sex with Casca, and like that's where the first time that he pops up. But at the end of the solar eclipse, we see Nosferatu Zod, and then we see the Skull Knight fighting. And he pretty much like he makes an entrance to save Guts, that's kind of pretty much how it kind of goes.
That's the end of the Golden Age.
He saves. Yeah. That's pretty much it. And from like there, it just goes on to them waking up in Godot's house, and with him with no arm, and Casca just mentally.
She's reverted back to being a child.
Yeah, she has like amnesia, but she's just like a child.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's crazy. That's how that ends as far as what we're covering. And what I want to bring back, it's that the fact that he survived the branding at that moment, him outside that realm, he's always going to be hunted because of the brand.
Yeah, because he's always marked as demon food now.
And we go back to the first episode where he is already trying to kill apostles.
Yeah, and he doesn't. It's so crazy, man, because he doesn't sleep, because at night is when the demons come. So he doesn't even get a chance to relax. So he's always on his feet in the middle of the night because the demons are always trying to get him. And then the brand itself, the brand of sacrifice, bleeds whenever the demons like come out. So he's not able to. He sleeps with an eye open.
So in the manga, he just doesn't sleep at all, or he sleeps during the day. He just literally doesn't sleep.
He doesn't.
Yeah. I mean,
he's just, dude. It's fucked up.
Either he's fucking fighting or not sleeping, or not being angry.
Exactly.
But he's not ever being angry.
Okay, so that was wild.
I love it. I like it. It's ridiculous.
I liked it. I like it once, like you get into the story at a certain point. Like it's entertaining. Like it's novel. You get what I'm saying? Like
it's adult to me. It's more adult than the things that we see nowadays. It's more like we don't care. Like, dude, like this has this kind of shit in it, but it makes sense. Like it's like
I almost don't find it adult. Like I find the story interesting. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of it's so edgelordy that it seems juvenile sometimes.
I haven't watched edgelord.
Edgelordy is just like it's graphic just to be graphic. You get what I'm saying? Like it almost doesn't even add to the experience because it's just being graphic.
I think in this, I haven't seen that, but here, I mean, I think all the shit that happened to him, to happen to Casca, what happened to Griffith, I can see why you would say it's like a lot, and it is a lot. Don't get me wrong, it's fucked up, but it adds, for me, it adds density to this fucking Goku-like fucking figure, this powerful fucking figure. Like, Goku's cool, I get it. Oh, he gets powerful, but I see a motive behind Guts just being fucking angry all the time.
Actually, that's how I kind of view it too. Because I mean, like, yeah, you could always power up, but like, you see the Guts development throughout the story. He just keeps on getting stronger. He's like we were saying earlier, he's the first human that was able to put up a fight against Zod. And you're like, holy shit, like, how strong is this guy? And then from here on out, he only gets stronger, and he only keeps pursuing this dream, is his life to known as he's the struggler, man. He's just struggles so much, and like at this point, like he just really wants to just kill Griffith. Like,
so then what's the rest of the manga? Is it just like him? Like, is it in subplots? Like, oh, now we're fighting this member of the demon hand. Now we're fighting this other member, or like
yes and no. There's no like round table that he has to take out. But like I said, like these demons known as the apostles are pretty much the God Hand's court of like super demons. So there's a small sub demi demons, and then we have like regular apostles, and then we got like the super apostles, which are like the captains in a way. So this is pretty much where it goes on, but for the most part it's just Griffith or Guts trying to kill Griffith, and then like he meets people along the way, and the story just gets so fucking fire. Like he's just doing everything to take care of Casca too.
Eventually, does he start fighting the members of the God Hand? So he's fighting like whole ass like demon lords at this point.
It's because he's in a hiatus, bro. We don't know what's gonna fuck.
Yeah,
but it hasn't even gotten to that point. No. Like, is that what's implied to be happening, or
there's right now where the story is at? Like, we haven't seen Griffith in a long ass time, like years, like almost like 10 years. They haven't seen each other. Like after there's an initial like time where they actually like fight, and then like it explains the story a little bit more in depth and where it's going. And Griffith like pretty much just fucks up Guts. He dips, and then he pretty much makes his own kingdom. And then Guts is just like trying to get stronger pretty much, and like he's just meeting people, and it just, I don't know, it just
crazy.
It's dense. It's so dense.
Now that you have finished watching it, did you really think I ruined it for you, Drew?
Ruined it a little, because, and the reason why is because like one of the storytelling themes is how like who's being sexually assaulted and how they're being sexually assaulted. And like going and like taking the most important instance, like example of this, and like telling me about it in episode 2, like that's so fucked up. Like, because for real, like every scene she's in,
it's being mentioned every time. Yeah,
every scene she's in, I'm like, fuck, this is it. She's about to get raped. This is it. I can't even watch right now. Like, she's about to be raped. I'm on episode 5. You get what I'm saying? Like, and then it doesn't happen till episode 25. Like,
did you like it though?
I liked it. I just don't know if it could ever be produced again. And I just keep coming back to this because like polite culture is not gonna fucking like this. Like,
would you keep reading the manga?
I'd consider it
and never read it.
It's because I don't know, I'm not much of a horror guy. No, I am. I really like horror movies, but I guess I'm not really big on like horror manga and horror anime because it seems more about the imagery, and I'm more about trying to break down a story like in terms of like literature, which like you can do with Berserk, but one of the big selling points is the artwork. You know what I mean? It's the imagery, it's the demon design, it's like stuff like that.
I gotta disagree.
No,
in my honest opinion, the story itself, the not only the story is so dense that you're so involved in it, that the imagery itself the panels, the characters that are met, the character development, the world building on top of that is so. I've never read a book that's done such a great job to really really expand on everything without like getting very lackluster. Like I don't really see him like falling off. So like there's relationships between like characters that you start seeing, like the relationship with Guts, Griffith, Casca, and then like we got other characters that come into play, and like it's spectacular. Like the story,
you know what that sounds like?
Is spectacular. What?
That level of world building that at its core is about the relationships we make.
No,
it's about Game of Thrones. This is it's fucking. They're both on a hiatus. They're both never gonna fucking finish, and like they're set in medieval times with semi-fantastical elements, but it's mainly about the politics and the relationships between the characters. This is fucking A Song of Ice and Fire.
What's the writer of Game of Thrones?
George R.R. Martin.
He's not in a hiatus. He's like he has health problems.
No, he doesn't have health problems. But see, it's because for whatever reason he doesn't want to write the main books. They keep producing like side books, world building books, books that are just a bunch of maps with like stories written in. They released a whole book of short stories that's just on like prequel characters. He just does not want to write the main plot for some reason. Like he does not want to finish the main story, and I don't fucking get why.
You know, for some reason, I thought you were going to say that I was saying no, and I thought you were going to say One Piece.
I was going to say that too, but One Piece isn't. It's the only theme of characters, like the relationships between characters, is that like I'm here for my friends, and my friends are going to help me no matter what. Which is like the opposite of Berserk's theme. Mm-hmm. Is like I make friends to support so that they can help me in my plan, and besides that, they're nothing. Mm-hmm. So they've completely. But there's a lot of world building in One Piece, but.
I liked it. I had a fun week. I'm sorry if at some point I ruined it for you, but I don't think it was such a fucking plot.
A spoiler.
Because she almost does get raped every fucking time we see her. But I did like it. It was like a fancy dinner for me. It was like something that I'm like, oh, that's good storytelling with a little weird
good.
shit.
A fancy.
It just took me a while to get into. It took me to like episode 5, 6 till I really got into it, just because like the imagery at first in 2020 watching it takes some getting used to, because it feels dated. Like it, even at the time, it looks a little low budget. Like the animation quality isn't even there. The soundtrack is ass. Like it, but the story's so good that at a certain point you do get into it.
I liked it. I hope you had fun, even if I did spoil it for you. I know fucking Lloyd loved it, watching it again and reading about it and even talking about it.
I'm a psychopath. I watched it way too many times, and then I'm probably gonna watch the movies right now too. So, but I'm glad that you liked it on your first round of
1997
getting into Berserk. But I would really like for you to start reading it. Because like I said, there's so much depth, and the story I think it's very profound. It has a there's got a lot of meaning to it. So definitely give it a read. All the readers all you guys out there listening, definitely read it, and you're gonna be blown away. What do you rate it, Drew? 100 biddies?
Thumbs up for sure. I'm not comfortable giving this a numbered scale, because
that's good.
He wants to run for office one day.
No, it's because it's like as a first viewing, like I can't rate the animation quality because it was made in a different time. You get what I'm saying? Like as a story, it's definitely thumbs up. I think people should watch it because, like we were talking about, there's a lot of things that are derived from this like storytelling and that were directly inspired by this. So if you want to understand these other works better, like you really need to like at least understand where this is coming from.
Yeah. And I think,
and you know what's great? A lot of like we were talking about like Dark Souls, or Demon Souls.
Dark Souls.
There's so many. Yes. So there's so many. Like game stories that use this as like one of their main like inspirations. Like this,
oh no, you feel it, bro. Like even the monster design, like you don't even know the stories. You just look at what the characters and the monster designs look like, and you're like, oh, okay, so they're based on the same thing.
Like God of War for me is like a little dark. It gets pretty dark, like the story of his family, him killing his family while he was blacked out, and all this shit. Like it's just something crazy, yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's real cool. Like thumbs up. I really think everyone should watch it. And like it's so easy to watch. Like every episode starts with like just a recap of the last episode and then that shitty song. So you skip to 5 minutes at the very beginning. The ending theme's 5 minutes. So you're watching like 15 minutes an episode of actual content. So you just breeze through fucking episodes.
Nah, I think it's fucking great. I think it was
the intro and like the last song, like the ending song. They're fucking great, man.
So, are we? Do you want to say something else about Berserk? Do you want to give it an overall rating?
I'm tired of Berserk.
Lloyd, do you have anything else to say?
I always have something to say, but okay, I'm good. Well, I'm good.
That was Berserk, everybody, nerds. We're gonna fucking go into the nerd down of this fucking episode.
This is the nerd down. So, quick housekeeping notes. We're going to be watching Parasite, the Maxim, an anime produced by Studio Madhouse, came out in 2014. It is based off a really famous horror manga. So that's going to be going with our streak of spooky things that we're watching for the month of October.
You're not very excited about this one, right?
I don't like the animation in Parasite. Like, I think it's a novel concept.
You're tripping.
I think, well, the manga looks good. I mentioned this last week. Like, the manga looks good. But, like, it doesn't translate to animation. It really doesn't. It looks really cheap. It looks tacky. Like, parts that should look really scary and gruesome look they look really tacky a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So, last week, we talked about a palate cleanser. But I don't think Lloyd got the right idea about what we're going to do. Lloyd, I know you wanted to made some recommendations because Drew wants a palate cleanser after Parasite.
Yeah, I didn't come up with anything. I actually came up with another bloody
we can watch that
anime.
We can watch that for week 5. That's what I'm saying. Like like the week after, we have 5 weeks in October. We're producing 5 episodes of this podcast in October. So we've done 3, or we're gonna do 3 after next week. And then we'll do palate cleanser for the 4th, and then the 5th one will be whatever.
No, I think we're ready on our 3rd.
Parasite's the 3rd.
Erased
and Berserk.
But October began in a weekend, so we did Darling in the Franxx the first weekend of October. I think that was like the 1st or the 2nd or something like that. Then the next weekend.
Oh no! Did Darling in the Franxx count?
Was Erased, and then now we have Berserk. So this 4th one should be our palate cleanser.
Oh, right. So then, would it be better if we did the palate cleanser this week and then Parasite the week after? Since then Parasite would come out like on Halloween weekend?
Yes.
Yeah?
That will be our Halloween weekend episode.
Okay, so on the spot right now, I'll give you all 3 choices. We have Konosuba, the funniest isekai ever made, probably the funniest anime ever produced.
That's that isekai, right?
Yeah. We have Gurren Lagann, which inspired like every Studio Trigger anime. And then we have Your Lie in April, which is an A1 Pictures super sad, like cry about something kind of anime. So those are all 3 different genres. They're all pretty good.
I'm down to spiral into my sadness, so I'm down for Your Lie in April. You want to
watch Your Lie in April?
Let's fucking cry. I'm down to give it a good cry.
Okay, I'm down. I think Your Lie in April is really good. I think that's like the best one on that list, to be honest. Like if I had like an anime top 10, I'm really glad you guys said that. Okay, so like if I didn't,
you're so excited.
Yeah. My mood's up. I can't believe we're watching Your Lie in April. I never thought you guys would pick this one. That's so funny. So if I had like an anime top 10 list, like we know what my 3 are. We know what hovers around like 4 or 5. Like this is for sure one of the best anime I have ever seen. Like it's super high quality.
What year is it?
I want to say like early
2005.
2010s.
2012.
Yeah, like 2012-ish time.
I know you mentioned it. I know I sent you a meme with like kids in Line April, kids in Hunter x Hunter, and
2014.
2014. There you go. But yeah, dude, I'm excited to watch that one. I like it. I think Fire of the Flies is I like it more, but because of like the purity of how like it is animated and like the old kind of style of the anime.
Yeah.
And it just sets a little bit more kind of nostalgia to like the anime.
Just before it throws you off guard, it is about music. Like they are in high school and it's about them playing instruments. So
Fuck it, I don't care.
yeah. Just so like
I started watching it.
did you?
I started watching like a couple of episodes, but I didn't get like too into it.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, I'm really excited for this.
So we'll figure it out.
Okay, so we'll watch
Your Line April.
Your Line April for next week. That'll be episode
this week.
15. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For this week,
this
for
week.
next week's
Okay.
episode.
Yeah, and then our Halloween weekend will be Parasite. And let's try to watch something scary. If you guys watch a scary movie or something like that, let us know.
Yeah, I'm down to watch a movie here and there.
You know?
Fuck it.
Yeah, and
For sure.
and what else we got? Hashtag.
Well, let's talk about Javi for a little bit.
Yes.
Shout out to our head designer in charge, Mr. Javi, at Slimeguts on Twitter, SLIMEGUTZ. We are still working on producing logos for stickers. And I think that's our main priority right now as far as marketing. We have started looking into registering in an LLC in the Between Nerds name. And that's because we are looking into... it's not definite, but at a certain point, I think we are looking into promotions, correct? And we
yes.
want the LLC to do that.
Yes. So
Yeah, we're trying to sell out.
And yes, but also, I mean, we have the means to make this every week, without anything. But we would like our production value to get higher. We want to give you guys better giveaways. We want to do better donations.
We got to pay off these $200 mics.
We got to pay off this $200 mics. All very, tough stuff. So we do want to get a little bit more budget to help out the community. I do want to give a shout out to the Little Shack. It's a small place. They have locations everywhere.
It's a seafood restaurant.
It's a seafood little snack restaurant. I was telling you guys right now, I went to Villa del Mar. Villa del Mar is a place in Juarez that is pretty good. In Juarez, and then I gave it a shot yesterday, and it's cool. But dude, let me tell you, if the Little Shack had a whole fish and some lobster on their menu, it would be a whole ass operation.
Do you know who owns it?
I don't know.
He said some lobster.
We need to give a shout out to the owner at a certain point, maybe.
Yeah, and yeah, dude, it was great. It was great, and like I said, we want to get a little more budget to give you guys some more cool giveaways to make better donations to the things we think need a little bit of help now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And shout out
definitely.
to the Hispanic Latino week.
Hispanic Heritage Month ends on October 15th or something.
It doesn't have a solid even
Yeah, it was September 15th to October 15th, and we totally missed out on that.
Yeah.
So that was weird. But there is a national adoption weekend for pets coming up soon. That's either this weekend or next weekend, and I think that's just something that humane societies over the entirety of the country do at a certain point. So that's cool because for this month we are donating to the Humane Society with hashtag Nerdy Paws.
Spell it for me.
NERD. Hold on. We'll spell everything at the end.
Okay.
But so and I think that's one of the few good things that come out of 2020 and COVID and shutdown and everything is that a lot of these animal shelters across the whole country are all the pets are being adopted. You know what I mean? A lot of people are trapped at home. A lot of people are mellowing in despair right now. And I think that's really cool that a lot of people's first thought is, I need to go rescue a puppy or a kitten or something. So it's real. And the older dogs too, they're always advertising how these older pets need to be adopted too, because when they're getting somewhere in age and they don't have that family there as a support system, it's cool to like take on that responsibility as a pet owner to take a senior dog like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to little baby Zelda Dietz. Been in and out the shelter, but you know she found a good house with Miss Ditz. And what else we got going on?
That's all. I submitted my second draft for my graduate portfolio 2 nights ago, but I spent so much time making this draft that I ignored all my other homework. So like now I'm swamped with my actual classes for the semester. So I don't know. I'm just drowning.
Fucking man.
Yeah, I got finished with school too, and I postponed my next class for like 2 weeks because I need a breather, man. I needed a breather.
Shit, Lloyd, you're back in the fucking podcast. I'm happy to have you on the fucking podcast.
Yeah, likewise. And that's another reason I kind of postponed it too, because I wanted to also dedicate some time to be able to watch these animes and
hell yeah.
You know, be back on this podcast from
otaku or that's how you say it, right?
What?
Otaku, right? Like the nerd.
Oh yeah.
So it has a like almost negative tone in Japan because of like
being called an otaku. You'd be like, you're a fucking nerd. Like
no, but because of like how you separate yourself from like that you make time to see anime instead of having time to do something like a job,
have a life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I had a fun time watching this Berserk. I worked all week. I played a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima with Lloyd, that new update to it where where you can do missions together. We played like one mission. It was just like a small ass mission, but I want to see where this is going. So I look forward to playing with you this week, Lloyd. Maybe we have time.
Yeah, dude, it's super. I'm super down. Yeah, it's super dope, man. I've been playing a couple games here and there, but
let's just start
that one.
Let's just start an Among Us server. We're gonna start a whole Discord.
I'm down.
Among Us is cool.
Yeah, just to play
the Discord.
I feel like I only see girls like talking about Among Us on like Twitter and stuff now, and I think that's what's so funny about it. Like, I don't even see like any guys talk about playing Among Us anymore, and I feel like it's only been a thing for like 2 weeks.
That's a conversation I want to have off the mic first before we have it on the mic.
What, about Among Us?
No, about how certain
girls co-opting our culture.
No.
Then what?
But yes.
Quick thing on Your Lie in April. It's 22 episodes, but there is an OVA, and you should probably watch the OVA because it's part of the main story.
Oh yeah, if you want to watch Berserk, it's on YouTube. Look it up, Berserk 1997.
Yeah, it's really weird that they have like 1080p fucking quality, like a whole playlist on YouTube, and no one's ever taken it down. Like that never gotten copyrighted and taken down. Like that's what's so weird about it. Like,
and that should be our fucking 14th episode, nerds. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening.
Tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to Between Nerds. Please follow us on Twitter at Between Nerds. That is BetweenNerds. Please send questions, comments, or concerns to BetweenNerdsPodcast@gmail.com. That is BetweenNerdsPodcast@gmail.com. Shout out to Javi for doing our design work. That is at Slimeguts on Twitter, SLIMEGUTZ. Shout out to Thomas Zapien for our intro song. Please use hashtag NerdyPaws, NERDYPAWS, for every hashtag uses with a picture of your pet or your favorite anime pet. We will be donating to the Humane Society of El Paso. And if you use the hashtag, you're automatically entered into our October giveaway, and you get a really cool, spicy nerd gift. So,
and with that, nerds,
yeah, and we got something good for this giveaway. So
something hella spicy.
So please use that hashtag.
Hell yeah, nerds! Thank you very much.
All righty, you nerds. We'll see y'all next week.
This has been
episode
Between
15.
Nerds.